Everybody hear me in the back? Microphone's on. I actually get a microphone. She's got the tough job. So a lot of you came, so that's good because the first session, maybe they didn't share that what you're going to do today. Maybe many of you wouldn't have come, but I'm just kidding. My goal today is about this, the power of feeling your best. How many of you want to feel really good? 5 of you want to feel really good? I think everybody wants to feel really good, right? The challenge is how do you do it? Because the next question I could ask, and I don't need to see hands, how many of you feel your best? We want to connect those. If you really want to feel your best, it is possible to do it, but we have to think of some of the things we do every single day. As I get going today, I want you to think big picture. I want you to dream. I want you to think what's possible. When we got stress and job and work and kids and family and all these responsibilities down here in day to day, it's sometimes hard to get above that noise and think what is possible. How many want to be medication free the rest of your life? Or maybe get off some of your medications, whatever that is. How many want to have less pain, less inflammation, sleep 8 hours a night? Sleep 5 hours a night, whatever it is. How many want to lose a couple pounds? So before we get going today, I want you to think anything is possible with the human body if you give it the raw material. Sometimes we get discouraged. Sometimes we don't feel like it's possible because of what happened in the past. I'm going to give you a couple tactics today. I've spent the last 11 years, worked with hundreds of thousands of people. It is possible to feel good if you give yourself the right raw material. Now, to get the energy high, I want you to stand for me. Come on, stand for me. Arms overhead. Motion creates positive emotion. Some of you are smiling for the first time in 3 years. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate our neck right and left. Motion creates positive emotion. I see so many neck issues. Ear to shoulder. All right, hang with me here. Spread your feet apart. You're twisting. Watch your neighbor. Watch your neighbor. Up and over. Okay, last one, feet together, knees together. We're squatting and holding. Get those knees together. Pull your arms in. Take them up. Stand up tall and breathe. Back down and we pulse. All right, have a seat. So many of you are active. I'm not going to spend much time on exercise, but movement is something all of us want to do. How many want to move the rest of your life? If you don't invest in movement now, it will become harder. And so that's my message. It doesn't have to be so strenuous. And if you haven't exercised today or weren't planning on exercising, you just completed your exercise portion of this. Now, who is this guy? Born and raised right here in Lansing. But I want to tell you where I come from because that matters, because I'm going to tell you a couple things to do in your life. So you better know where I come from. I grew up with this health guru of a father that drove a Frito-Lay truck for 7 years. Before that, he drove a butternut bread truck. So my point is you don't have to be perfect. I'm going to tell you a couple tactics when it comes to eating. I'm going to talk about exercise. I'm going to talk about sleeping. But don't leave here today thinking you got to do everything. Pick 1 or 2 things coming out of here because that's how success happens. My sister's in this picture. She fought tooth and nail. This is weird. You guys are freaks. You guys have family members as well. Don't go home and tell them what to do. You have to be the leader. You have to be the role model. She's now a registered dietitian, works for us in the business because when she matured enough, she came back around. And the last thing, we wrote a cookbook, my sister and I. And the cookbook was designed to teach people that you can eat healthy and make it taste good. My mom is in that picture. We talk about my mom. She had 42 first cousins. That's a lot of first cousins. She taught us how to cook. My dad taught us what to cook. It is possible to cook healthy and make it taste good at the same time. So that's a little bit about where I come from, but this is the problem. Every single day I'm answering emails, texts, phone calls, I'm speaking, and people don't feel good. It's a problem we have. Whether it's medication, whether it's surgeries, whether it's inflammation. And if you look at this ship, it's not tipped over. Like, it's not catastrophic right now. There's other issues that maybe are more urgent. But it's something we better get control of because it will be catastrophic if we don't go after what's causing that ship to tip over. And there's a couple reasons why. Number one is we have too much information. How many of you are overwhelmed what to do when it comes to your health? Are confused? New diets, they got the ketosis diet now, and are carbs good, are carbs bad? How much protein do I need? What are fats? There's a lot of confusion. I call it infotainment, the social media. It's just a bunch of information, but it's not education. Two things not taught, two things we're not educated on: how to take care of our personal finance, how to take care of our personal health. Hopefully today I'll give you a little education on how to take care of your personal health. I kind of joked about this. We laughed a little bit. Some of you didn't want to move. That's okay. But we have to understand that movement is very powerful, and we lack movement in our society. So lack of movement is a real problem. But I want you to have fun. I'm not very serious when it comes to this stuff. You can do anything you want if you kind of do some of the pillars. This is a Krispy Kreme bacon and cheese. It's called a Luther Burger out of West Virginia. Looks pretty good to some of us, not so good to some others. Everywhere I go, everywhere you go, there's inexpensive, great tasting, arguably unhealthy food. Everywhere you go. There is not very good tasting, inexpensive, healthy food everywhere you go. That's not the option. It's the unhealthy food. So we have to prepare, we have to navigate, because if we don't, this will face us every single day. And the last one is stress. How many feel like you have more stress today than ever before? All the stats are showing us we have more stress today than ever before. But we actually live in a safer world. We should have less stress. We have better technology to make life easier. But it's our perception of the stress that's the problem, and many of us aren't taught how to perceive threat in a different way. If a bear came through that door, what would we do? If you're smart, you'd run through that door. Or you'd shove a couple people through this door and make sure you get out of there. What if a bear isn't coming through that door, but you think it is? You react the same way. So it could be an email, it could be a text, could be a spouse, a child, could be financial stress. Whatever the stressor is, we react to it the same way. But that's where we have control. We don't need to get rid of the stressor. We have to control our reaction to that stress. And all of us have choice when it comes to that reaction. But we have to understand this is melting us down. We have more stress today than ever before. Anxiety, depression, mental health issues continue to ramp up because we're not controlling this thing called the mind. But when you're thinking about health, and I think health is important to everyone in this room. Some of us are in different periods, or seasons I call it. In 1970, 10% of our country is obese. Cancer's low. Type 2 diabetes is low. Anxiety, depression, mental health issues are not a thing. Oh yeah, digestive health issues, you ever hear of these things? Nobody ever heard of them in 1970. 7% of our GDP is spent on healthcare, meaning we're not spending a lot of money on healthcare. 1970. Watch what happens as we fast forward. Most of us are from Michigan, not a healthy state. In the 2000s, the Midwest gets gobbled up 25 to 30% obesity or more. Cancer starts to ramp up. Heart disease starts to ramp up. Inflammation issues, stress. Today, doesn't matter where you live, United States or around the globe, we have an obesity epidemic. 33% or more of our country is obese or higher. We have 26 million type 2 diabetics in our country today. 1970, we had 500,000. We have 80 million pre-diabetics in our country today. It's just a matter of time until they become type 2 diabetic. Cancer, stress, anxiety, digestive health issues, all these things are becoming an issue. But if you look at it and say, well, it's genetics. Well, genetics haven't changed the last 40 years, 50 years. But our health continues to go in the wrong direction. And the crazy thing is we have better hospitals, better information, better technology, all these resources, but we continue to go in the wrong direction. That's my message today. We have to take control. How many value your health? It's very valuable to you. Then you better invest in it like it's the number one investment that you have, because nobody else will. This is what I spend a large portion of my day dealing with. People that are going on medications that lead to other medications. Now I'll tell you one disclaimer. I'm not your doctor. I'm not telling you to get off any of your medications. I'm telling you how to work with your doctor. It's called asking a better question. You ask a better question, you get a better answer. If you have a headache, are you deficient in ibuprofen? No, you're not deficient in ibuprofen or Tylenol or Advil or an anti-inflammatory. But 60 million people take an anti-inflammatory every single day for a common headache. Maybe it's muscle pain because they're not asking the right question. This leads to a laundry list of side effects that lead to maybe another medication. So I'm going to give you a better question to ask. Next time you have a headache, I want you to ask this question: have you had enough water today? Many people that get dehydrated, their vessels become restricted and they get a headache. We know most of our country is dehydrated, so next time you have a headache, ask, have you had enough water today? Now, I've gone out late, had too many cocktails. That's another reason to have a headache. We know why we've had that headache. If you're having headaches and you don't know why, good chance that you're dehydrated. So we have to start asking a better question. The key is you ask a better question, you get a better answer. I show this up here because I think this matters to everyone in here. Could be your kids, whether it's focus issues, ADHD, maybe some of your kids are struggling with anxiety, digestive health issues, or maybe it's yourself, acid reflux, inflammation, sleep issues, blood pressure, cholesterol. These are the lifestyle-related medications I deal with on a daily basis, meaning they're preventable, they're reversible, and we have to understand there's better solutions than taking the medications. I'm going to start with one that I find is very common, acid reflux. Here's what I want you to do if you have acid reflux. You're going to take 8 ounces of water. You're going to squeeze half a lemon in that water. You're going to do that for 2 weeks, and you're going to shoot me an email how your acid reflux is. By digestion, lemons are very alkaline. Again, if you have acid reflux issues, 8 ounces of water, half a lemon in that water, drink that for 2 weeks, it will solve that acid reflux because that lemon's very alkaline. Well, Matt, what's the problem with acid reflux? Well, you got Tums, very common. They got hand grippers now, 12 different flavors. You can get the big thing from Costco or Sam's. It's literally like this big. Well, that's not going after the source of why you have the acid reflux. And then for many, it leads to a prescription. And the prescription leaches out a mineral called zinc. Zinc is the raw material to build testosterone and some of your growth hormones. What commercials do we see every single day on TV? Low T, ageless male, hormonal replacement therapy. It's only a matter of time if you're on an acid reflux for you to go on some other medication like a testosterone or a cholesterol blocking medication. So we have to go after what's causing these issues. But the big kahuna down here is cholesterol. How many of you have had your cholesterol checked? For most part, if you've had your blood test, you'll get your cholesterol checked. How many in this room believe cholesterol is amazing? Is amazing. We don't know. How many of you bought a car recently? You know what kind of car you wanted to buy? Make, model, color? You didn't need much education, right? None of us really know what cholesterol is in this room. It's the most amazing nutrient that we produce naturally in the body. We've been told that we have to block our cholesterol at all costs. Mark my words, in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll have an epidemic too low level of cholesterol because it's an essential nutrient that we need. Well, let's ask a better question. What does it really do? Well, it's the backbone to your hormones. You need cholesterol to produce hormones. Why do I need hormones? Because it's the chemical messenger that the body needs to communicate. Specifically, your sex hormones. Now, how many believe cholesterol is amazing? Okay, a little better than earlier. We're warming up, but cholesterol is something that's miseducated on. We got to educate ourselves. I'll give you a couple ways to improve cholesterol. The newest research, the higher your cholesterol is in balance, the longer you're going to live because it supports those hormones. Especially for females, as you age, what happens to your hormones? They go down, meaning we need that cholesterol to support that function. Here's your future medicine cabinet. It's called Whole Foods, and these things called superfoods. Grab your food target. At the center of the food target is your most nutrient-dense foods, quality. Doesn't really matter quantity, it's quality that matters. On the outer perimeter, it could be high calories, but it's got very few nutrients. Your future medicine cabinet are these things called superfoods. I'll discuss a couple today that I believe many of us are deficient in. But before we do that, and the reason why this health stuff is hard to reverse is because we all have these beliefs. How many have a belief when it comes to your health? Drink water, sleep, exercise, Some of you believe carbohydrates are what? How many believe carbohydrates are bad in this room? It's the number one diet. We don't have to raise our hands, but it's the number one diet in our country today is low carbohydrate diets. Or how many believe I need more protein? It's a belief. Or some of you still believe that fat makes us fat. 20 years ago, everything was fat-free. Then we realized, oops, cardiovascular incidences went up. We actually need some of these fats. There's healthy and unhealthy fat. These beliefs matter because that's the action you're going to take. I'm here to tell you, because I've done this for a long time, many people are taking the wrong action. They're working hard, but they're not taking the right action, and that's why they're not getting the results. I think most people in this room want to lose weight. How many people want to lose weight in this room? I see it every single day. People are trying to cut out carbs, work on their calories to try to lose weight. It will never work long term. So you're never going to get that result. So we have to go backwards and say, how do we change beliefs? We focus right here on results. I got a belief in here today that I'm going to smash. This is called cod liver oil. Hopefully the group before didn't tell you about this or else you wouldn't come. It's in the cooler back there, chilling like a fine bottle of wine. You all get to try cod liver oil today. Excited? How many in this room believe cod liver oil tastes bad? Raise your hands high. Okay, most of us. How many believe it tastes bad and you've never had it before? It's called a limiting belief. If I didn't have you sample and I just said, hey, cod liver oil is one of the most amazing omega-3s you can consume, you'd believe it tastes bad and you would never do it. And how are you going to get the result if you never do that? You know, you never get results if you don't take the action. So you're going to get to try this today, and I've done this every single time for all my presentations because I got to tackle your beliefs. You're going to say the same thing. It tastes like lemon oil. It's easy. Well, Matt, I'm taking a gel capsule. You need 15 to 20 gel capsules equal a tablespoon of the oil. Nobody's taken 15 to 20, so you're never going to get those results. I'm here to smash those beliefs. If you understand, if you change your beliefs, you change the action, you get a result. Well, Matt, tell me the result, taking 1 tablespoon. It's going to help balance your cholesterol profile. Hormonal health. It's your anti-inflammatory. This is your future anti-inflammatory, and it's something that the body needs. It's an essential omega-3 fatty acid. All by taking 1 tablespoon. But many of us have a belief that leads us to not take the right action. Roger Bannister was the first person on the planet to do what? Anybody know who Roger Bannister was?
4-minute mile.
Broke the 4-minute mile. No one thought it was humanly possible. Nobody had the belief that it was possible. He broke it. 32 people broke it the next year. I'm here to tell you the only way that we start to reverse this is we got to change some of these limiting beliefs. Carbohydrates are not bad. There's worse carbohydrates, but carbohydrates are essential. Proteins, we don't need to overconsume proteins. And fats are essential if you want to feel your best. You need some of these healthy fats. So I'm going to start with 3 pillars. The first one's called rest, sleep. It's the most neglected thing in our country. In the last 100 years, we've lost 2 hours of sleep on average. We've been around for millions of years. In 100 years, we've lost 2 hours. And we're close to losing 3 hours. 6.5 hours is what we average in our country. So we got to tackle rest. How many of you value sleep today more than you did 10 years ago? It will only get more valuable and it will only get harder. So we better invest in it right now because it's something that we're going to want in the future.
You're tired. You get weird when you get tired. Let's just find a motel. I don't want you dozing off. I'm tired, are you kidding? Go another 100 miles. Come on. No problem.
So some of us have been there, but we know sleep is valuable, but when we're not sleeping, it's really hard to say, yeah, I want to sleep, but I can't. It's the problem when we have the problem, but when we're sleeping, we don't worry about sleep. The big issue that I see with sleep is many of us can't stay asleep, and this mineral right here is called magnesium. Magnesium allows you to stay relaxed. If you wake up at 2, 3 a.m. or whenever your bedtime for that 8 hours is that you wake up, and you can't stay asleep, it's a good chance that you're deficient in this mineral called magnesium. 2 ways to get more magnesium. The food you eat, chia seeds, figs, dates, raisins, whole foods, have magnesium. That's a little bit harder because we got to make some changes. Or a really easy one is this thing called Epsom salts. Epsom salts are pure magnesium. And what you do is you get a foot tub or a bucket. You put warm water in that bucket. You put half a cup of Epsom salts in that bucket. You soak your feet 2 times 20 minutes. You'll get that magnesium to absorb through your skin. If you cannot stay asleep, challenge me on this. This will allow you to stay asleep throughout the night. Well, Matt, I'm not getting 8 hours of sleep. Well, the biggest issue that I see is people aren't prioritizing sleep. Okay, what time do you have to wake up? I have to wake up at 6. Well, what time do you go to bed? I go to bed at midnight. That's why you're not getting 8 hours of sleep. It's impossible if you go to bed at midnight and have to wake up at 6. So number one is you better start protecting and prioritizing when are you going to fall asleep based on when you want to wake up. The other thing is we got to get rid of the technology before bed. If you're on your phone, your tablet, computer, it will delay you falling asleep by 90 minutes. And if you miss that window to fall asleep, it's really hard to fall asleep when you want to. These are a couple ways to improve sleep. The second pillar is eating. And what I want you to use or think about with this food target is you're going to make small progressions. If you're at the red right now, or many people don't eat breakfast, the first thing I want you to do is eat breakfast, make a small change. Maybe you're going from the red to the orange. But if I came in here and said, all right, here's what we want to do. We're going to remove all this stuff from our house, okay? We got Wonder Bread in the pantry. Kids, family, spouse. Now we got this sprouted bread. What would they say? What are you doing to me? And you drop the sprouted bread on your foot, it'll like break your foot, it's so dense. The Wonder Bread, it's soft and fluffy. So what you're going to do is you're going to go from the Wonder White bread or whatever bread, and you're going to make a small upgrade. You like chips? Can I get a better chip? I like cookies. Can I get a better cookie? If you like Doritos, there's no better option for Doritos. I'm sorry, it's the #1 selling chip. It's the best tasting chip on the planet. But you're saying, Matt, it's so expensive to eat healthy. Not really. If you look at the center of this target, it's called Whole Foods. It's one of the cheapest things we can buy. Processed healthy food is more expensive because it's processed. But, okay, Doritos. It's #1 chip on the planet. Remember, I grew up with a chip driver of a dad. How many like Doritos? Doritos are really good. How fast would it take you to eat this bag of Doritos or your family? Seconds? So Matt, it's so expensive to eat healthy. Okay, I'm telling you to make a simple upgrade sometimes. This is Garden of Eden tortilla chips. 5 ingredients. 72 ingredients. You take this home. How fast would your family eat these? Maybe never? I just saved you a boatload of money making this simple, healthy upgrade because you're changing from the chip. So what we want to do is we want to make these simple upgrades when it comes to the food target. How do we know what's a better option? Well, this is simple. This is very simple. Where does it come from and do you know the source? Most of us have no idea what's in this chip, right? So we know it's probably not a healthy option. Where does this come from? We've seen this. We know where an apple comes from. It comes from a tree. This is the first source of something you can consume from an apple. Then you process it into applesauce or apple juice, and you get away from what this started with. Not that those are bad. They're just not going to be as good as this apple. This is called sugar cane. Sugar's the big bad wolf. You should cut out sugar. Nobody should eat sugar. Carbohydrates are sugar. Sugar are carbohydrates. It's the processing of the sugar that's the problem. If you've ever had sugar cane, and if you're in these climates where they have fresh sugar cane, you need a machete to chop this stuff down. It's got fiber, it's got minerals, it's got water. It's actually a very healthy food for us at the source. You process that into sugar that we think about, it's not the same sugar, it's extremely processed. So what you're going to do is take whatever you're consuming, supplement, beverage, food, and can you say, can I get closer to the source? For 2 reasons. It's going to be better for you and it's going to be cheaper. Anybody want to pay more and get less? No. Nobody wants to pay more and get less. You want to pay less, get more. This is called flax seeds. How many of you have heard of flax seeds? Cheapest superfood you can consume, $1.50 a month. There's one trick with the flax seeds. You have to grind the flax seeds or you will see them again. This room's a little bit sharper over here, so we got to warm this side of the room up. You have to grind these flax seeds or you will see them again. So from a health benefit, you got to get a cheap coffee grinder, but it's $1.50 a month, taking 1 tablespoon. I put this in cereal, in juices. My kids are getting it in all different types of food because it's an omega-3, high in fiber, great for you. But they process it, they put it into flaxseed oil. Price goes up, potency goes down. Where everybody jumps are these gel capsules. You go into any store, they make the most money off the gel capsules. So they're everywhere, and they're convenient. But you need 15 to 20 of these gel capsules to equal a tablespoon of the seeds. It's $40 a month comparing the same product, the same dosage when you go to the gel capsules. So when I talk about the cod liver oil, the reason people are taking the gel capsules is because it's easy. You're going to spend way more money than you need to, and you're not going to get the result because you're not going to take enough. There's very little oil in those gel capsules. So what you want to do is if you consume protein powder, if you consume a supplement, you ask, where does it come from? Anybody know where whey protein powder comes from? Milk. They remove the fat, the sugar, the water. They add a milkshake flavor, they process it up, and now it's a protein powder. What I do for my protein powder in my smoothie is I do flax seeds, hemp seeds, and chia seeds. I put those right into my smoothie. Frozen fruit, banana, water, that's high in omega-3s, high in protein. I'm going to the source of these foods. Going to be better for us, and it's going to be cheaper on the budget. The 2 deficiencies that I see, number 1 is omega-3s. I've talked about this a lot because it's such a deficiency. I would say 98% of our country is deficient in omega-3 fatty acids. Every cell in the human body needs these omega-3 fatty acids. So when you talk about cancer, obesity, energy, if you don't have omega-3s, it's very hard for the body to solve those issues. Well, how do I get them? The first one's the cod liver oil because it has D3 naturally. I don't recommend taking a D3 supplement. I live right here in Michigan. I don't get enough D3, but you don't want to take a synthetic D3 because it's not absorbable. So you can get it in the cod liver oil naturally. 1 tablespoon of the cod liver oil, you're going to say the same thing tastes like lemon oil. You have to refrigerate it once it's open. The other 2 omega-3s are plant-based, flaxseed and chia seeds. And in the 30 years my father's been doing this, the 11 years I've been doing this, we've never not had someone not get off their cholesterol medication combining these 2 products. It's a $16 billion industry, statin medications, with a laundry list of side effects because we're not going after the source of the issues. A lot of you in this room have inflammatory issues. That's your future anti-inflammatory. Any omega-3 is an anti-inflammatory. The other superfood are these things called super greens. This is called an algae. And you're like, oh boy, Matt, now you're talking about algae. Hang with me for a second. This is the oldest food on the planet. It supports every other living organism. The problem is it doesn't taste very good. So you're not going to have a bowl of the algae. But if you take small amounts of it, it's going to give you a lot of nutrients. These are called spirulina chlorella tablets. Do me a favor. Do not chew these tablets. You're going to get to try some today. There's 10 tablets in the bag because it's a real food that they dry. You just swallow them with water. Again, do not chew these tablets. Just a reminder, they don't taste very good. This does 2 things for you. It helps boost your immune system, so you're not getting sick. Helps you detoxify daily. We have high amounts of toxicity. Most of the cancer and inflammation we have is due to that toxicity that we have to eliminate. These are some of the oldest foods on the planet that give us the most nutrients. Last pillar is movement. And when I talk about movement, I start with posture. I can talk about cardio and strength training, and if you want to learn more about those things, come to our website. But everyone in this room should be worried about their posture. We're texting, we're driving, we're surrounded, the gravity. And once this happens, we start putting the body under a lot of stress. Ankle issues, knee issues, hip issues, rotator cuff, migraine headaches, tension headaches, neck issues. Here's a tool to improve your posture. Hey guys, I want to show you how to use a foam roller. This is 3 feet long, 6 inches in diameter. You can get them right off our website. I'm going to show you a couple ways to use the foam roller. First thing, I throw this right on the floor, and I'm going to use it as a posture tool. So you're going to lay on it from your tailbone all the way to your head, And I want your palms up and just relax. Lower back issues, relax your neck issues, shoulder issues, lining up the spine. If you want to gain 3 inches, you lay on this. Allows the spine to relax. The most beneficial way is just to lay on it. The most passive exercise you can do. How many in here don't like to exercise? Raise your hands. A lot of people. You know, some days I don't like to exercise. I like the benefit. You know what's cool about this exercise? You lay on this. You could watch TV, I don't care what you do. It's a very passive exercise. Everyone in this room should be worried about their posture. Most surgeries happen because there was a posture issue that led to some injury. Now, accidents happen, but I've seen people that tear their rotator cuff because their ankle's out of alignment every single day when they walk. If your ankle's out of alignment, your shoulder's gonna be out of alignment. That's what posture does. You wanna line the body up. If you're gonna do anything from a movement standpoint, what I found is the most beneficial of these things called dynamic warm-up and foundations on the back of your food target. These take no equipment, very little time, 3 to 5 minutes, allows the body to warm up, kind of what we did today, gets the body in alignment with these foundation exercises, and you're like, hey, how do I do these? We have a video right on our website. This is how you would start with these dynamic warm-up foundations. Again, about 100% of you said you want to move in the future. That means that we have to invest in our movement today if we want to move at that ability in the future. Last piece, and I share this because it's the most valuable information that many of us feel like, hey, why do I need to know this? Gentleman over there says he knows exactly what car he wants to buy. You go into the doctor, you get a blood test come back that's not favorable. Many of us have no idea what questions to ask, but it's our most valuable asset is our health. So we have to educate ourselves so that we can ask these better questions, so that we can get a better outcome. Many of us have heard of cholesterol. I'm kind of telling you that cholesterol is essential. There's more to just knowing your cholesterol. Once you know your cholesterol, yes, there's some risk factor there, but you have to understand that cholesterol is good. It depends on the good and bad in this thing called your cholesterol ratio. And I can talk about that further if you have questions. But 2 things that many of you have never heard of that I want to mention. This number right here called homocysteine, this measures oxidation, oxidative stress. I bit into this apple an hour and a half ago. What's happening to that apple? It's oxidizing. Antioxidants help you reduce that oxidative stress. Most low carbohydrate diets are high oxidation diets, meaning high risk. Anybody ever know someone that had a heart attack at 50, 55, looked healthy? I think many of us know somebody like that. It's because their homocysteine, for the most part, was probably very high and they didn't know it. There's no medication for this, so you have to ask for that test if you care. Coming out of here today, like what's a simple strategy? If everyone in this room, and this is a challenge here at Lynn Products, if everyone in this room had 1 apple a day or a banana or a piece of fresh fruit, it almost eliminates the digestive health issues that we have. Natural bacteria, natural enzymes, this is your probiotic, but many people are not eating raw food. They're eating these processed foods. Challenge for you, are you having a piece of fruit once a day? If you're not, that's something walking away that's gonna help with your homocysteine. The other thing, because I know this working with a lot of people over time, we have a lot of inflammation. This number right here measures your inflammation, chronic inflammation. Once you get your inflammation too high, it's going to wreak havoc on the body. That's a number that you should know if you're worried about your risk. The last number is testosterone. You should all know this like you know your age. Going to the doctor, you know your age, you know your weight. You need to know your testosterone because that's going to tell you how you're aging. Males above 400. Women 30 to 95. If you don't know this, you're not really in tune to how you're aging. Okay, I'm done and I'll end with this story, but this is my email, mjohnson@ontargetliving.com. If you have any questions, you take this home, your family has questions, send me an email. That's a service I provide. I will answer everybody's email in a timely fashion. If you want to go to our website, ontargetliving.com, we created a coupon code for you guys if you want to do some of these superfoods, Superfood20 for 20% off. You don't have to, that's just an option. And then use these free resources we have, free podcasts, our website, videos, and again, our website's on the bottom of our food target. I'll end with this story. So this is my grandfather, And he passed away 7 years ago, and he was an amazing person in my life. We've all had these people in our life. But he never woke up in the morning and said, I feel good. This is what my father's been doing for the last 30 years, his son. There's 2 mistakes we made with my grandfather. Number 1 is we overwhelmed him. Today, for you, pick 1 or 2 things coming out of here. Maybe it's just drinking more water. Maybe it's I'm just going to do the dynamic warm-up a couple times a week and see if that helps me with the way I'm moving. Or maybe I'm going to do the Epsom salts because I want to sleep. My grandfather, we try to get him to upgrade his peanut butter. Don't do this Jif peanut butter. This is a trans fat. Eat breakfast. Hire a trainer. Make these upgrades. Do some of the superfoods. And what did he do? He did nothing because we overwhelmed him. I'm here today. Everyone's in a different spot. Pick 1 or 2 things. Make it a habit. Once it's a habit, then we go to the next habit. The second mistake that we made is we never told him how much he was needed. Told him how much I loved him. I played golf with him. We did a bunch of activities. But I never told him how much he was needed for me. I'm here to tell you, because many people don't tell you, that you're needed by at least one person. Many of us are needed by several people. And if you don't invest in yourself first, in your health, it's impossible to give as much as you want. How many in this room want to give to other people? I think many of us want to give to other people. How many feel sometimes you just don't have enough to give? Energy, come home after work, you're just tired. My message today, invest in yourself, put that oxygen mask on yourself. This stuff works every single time, but you have to start somewhere. And for you, hopefully it's 1 or 2 things coming out of here. You guys have been amazing. I'm going to be around. The bar will be open at 10:10. The cod liver roll bar, the different bar. And again, thank you for your time, your energy, and I'll be over there, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.